Bucky Brooks on what he sees in the 2023 Browns. This is from NFL Network's NFL Total Access.
To me, on paper, they're right there with the Cincinnati Bengals. They're neck and neck. There's a part of me that believes the Cleveland Browns will win the division, and it's going to be very impressive. It's not only what we talked about offensively, because I can talk about the firepower, Amari Cooper and a lot more, David Njoku, Nick Chubb, and those guys. But defensively is where they've made the biggest improvement. Jim Schwartz comes over, gives them a Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator. You have Zadarius Smith and Myles Garrett, who might be the best 1-2 punch as edge rushers in the National Football League. And with Schwartz being able to tie that in with a wide nine front, a defensive backfield that really specializes in playing man-to-man, this could be problematic for a lot of teams in the AFC. And so, you know, I'm really excited about the Browns. And when we talk about the uniform deal, the all-white, the drip, man, when you have the drip to go with the talent and the stuff that the Browns have going on, I'm really excited about what they have going on in the dog pound.
Jeff, it's kind of interesting. The guys that have played that are national analysts, the closer the season gets, the more you're starting to hear positive things about the Browns and Deshaun Watson and the defense.
Well, first things first, Bucky Brooks, as great as the compliment as you gave, the Browns roster is better. It's a better roster. Yes, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, it's an unbelievable group of talent that can throw the football around to each other. But the Browns roster is better. Offensive line is better. Secondary is better. But yes, and I think this is where now that, you know, and we always go through this difficult part of the year where, you know, content matters and you still have to appease the people you're working for. You have to appease your sponsors, and you've got to put out content that draws eyes. But nothing's changed, in my opinion. This franchise looks to be as good as it's maybe ever been. And I understand there's it doesn't work out for Cleveland. And we've heard this before. But you can't, I mean, as a fan, you can do that. As far as analysts, you can't. You know, when this team, you know, had John Dorsey as a general manager, you know, I didn't feel the vision that I feel now, because there were moves that were made that either A, made no sense, or why did you take a chance on this guy? I mean, for God's sakes, he got thrown out of college, you know, these types of things. Now the moves they make, they're calculated, and you see the thought process that goes into it, and they just go more thorough with what they do. This roster is really, really good. You got a guy like Dalen Baldwin right now who is lighting up training camp. There's not a prayer right now that Dalen Baldwin has a chance to make the final 53 for week 1 against Cincinnati. But the guy is catching everything in training camp. This roster is deep. It's loaded. It's a good football team. And as long as Deshaun Watson returns to maybe even 2/3 of what Deshaun Watson was, this team really has a solid chance and most likely should win the AFC North.